Nobody noticed him. Not the couples laughing near the window. Not the teenagers posting selfies. Not even the manager standing 5 feet away. An old man sat alone in the corner booth of a busy American restaurant for almost 2 hours. No food. No water refill. No conversation. Just a wrinkled jacket and a small black notebook he kept opening and closing. And when the bill finally came, the entire restaurant went silent because the receipt didn't show a price. It showed a name. It was a Friday evening in Columbus, Ohio. Maple Street Grill was packed. The smell of burgers, fries, and grilled steak filled the air. TV screens played a basketball game. Waitresses moved fast, carrying trays and shouting orders. Table 12. Extra ranch. 2 iced teas. No lemon. Check for booth 4. Normal American dinner rush. And right near the back exit sat the old man. He walked in at 5:10 p.m. No one noticed. He didn't look homeless. But he didn't look wealthy either. Simple brown shoes, faded coat, gray beard, hands shaking slightly. He chose the smallest booth, sat down carefully. Then he waited. A young waitress named Emily, 21 years old, noticed him first, but only for a second. She was overwhelmed. New job, college tuition, student loans, double shift. She grabbed menus and rushed past. "I'll be right back, sir," she said automatically. She never came back. 10 minutes passed. 20. 30. The old man never complained. He just looked around. Families eating together. Friends laughing. Parents feeding children fries. He smiled softly and wrote something in his notebook. The manager, Rick, saw him too. Rick was efficient, fast, strict, but impatient. He whispered to another waiter, "Don't spend too much time there." "Why?" Rick shrugged. "He's gonna order coffee and sit for hours. I know the type." So no one approached the table again. Not intentionally cruel. Just ignored. After 1 hour, Emily walked by again. The old man politely raised his hand. Not angrily. Not demanding. Just hopeful. "Miss?" She stopped. "Yes, sir?" He smiled warmly. "Could I please have some water?" She froze. Her face changed. She realized no one had served him. "I'm so sorry," she said quickly. She rushed and brought ice water. The man held the glass carefully, like it mattered. "Thank you," he said. And that was all. No complaint. No lecture. Just gratitude. Emily felt strangely uncomfortable. She returned 5 minutes later. "Are you ready to order?" The old man looked at the menu for a long time, then closed it. "Actually, I'll just take the chicken soup and bread." That was the cheapest item, $4.99. Emily hesitated. Is that all?" He smiled. "That's perfect." Then he asked softly, "Busy tonight?" Emily laughed nervously. "Always. Fridays are crazy." He nodded. "Good. Busy places mean happy lives." She didn't understand what he meant, but she smiled anyway. While waiting for the soup, the old man watched everyone. A father teaching his son how to cut steak. A couple arguing quietly. 3 teenagers sharing milkshakes. His eyes became watery. He wasn't staring. He was remembering. Every few minutes, he wrote something in the notebook. Emily noticed. "What are you writing?" He paused. "Memories." She sat for a second, though she wasn't supposed to. "Of today?" He shook his head. "Of 40 years ago." He pointed to the restaurant walls. "Was this place always a grill?" Emily said. Yeah, since I was a kid. He smiled deeper. It wasn't always this big. She frowned. What do you mean? He looked around slowly. There used to be only 6 tables and a coffee machine that barely worked. Emily laughed. Seriously? He nodded. I remember the first day it opened. Emily assumed. Oh, you used to eat here a lot? He didn't answer immediately. He just looked at the kitchen and whispered, I used to wash dishes there. Emily sat down properly now. He spoke slowly. 1979, winter. I had $12 in my pocket. No family. No job. I asked the owner for work. What did he say? Emily asked. The old man smiled. He gave me a broom. No interview. No resume. Just a chance. He looked at his hands. I slept in the storage room for 2 months. Emily's eyes widened. You were homeless? He nodded. That restaurant saved my life. She brought his soup. He held the spoon carefully, like it was fragile. He took one bite, closed his eyes, and for a moment, he looked peaceful. Same taste, he whispered. Emily didn't understand why, but she felt emotional. After finishing, he asked, May I have the check, please? Emily said softly. Sir, you can stay longer. He shook his head. Some journeys are meant to be short. She printed the bill. $6.42 with tax. She placed it on the table. He opened his wallet slowly. Very slowly. Inside were only a few old photographs and a folded check. He signed something, closed the book, and handed it back. Thank you for your kindness, Emily. She froze. I never told you my name. He smiled. It's written on your badge. She laughed nervously, then walked to the register. She opened the receipt and stopped breathing. Not a tip, not a signature, a check for $50,000. And on the memo line, for the staff of Maple Street Grill. Her hands trembled. Rick! The manager rushed over. What happened? She handed the receipt. Rick's face went pale. Is this real? Below the signature was a printed name. Daniel Whitaker. Rick whispered. That's impossible. Emily. Who is that? Rick looked toward the empty booth. The old man was gone. Rick said. That's the founder. Emily. What? Rick swallowed. He built this restaurant 40 years ago and sold the company 15 years back. He's a millionaire. They rushed outside. Parking lot empty. Just cold evening air. On the table, the notebook remained. Rick opened it. Inside were names. Hundreds of names. Former employees. Dishwashers. Waitresses. Cooks. On the last page, a note. Tonight I learned something. The food is still warm. The building is still standing. But kindness is fading. Except one person. So I leave this gift not for business, but for humanity. Take care of people. Restaurants don't feed stomachs. They feed lives. Emily started crying because she remembered. He waited 2 hours. Ignored. Alone. And still, he rewarded them. Narrator. Sometimes, the person you overlook is the person who once built the ground you stand on. Respect is not for rich people. Respect is for human beings. Because you never know who is sitting quietly in front of you, testing not your service, but your heart. And life has a strange habit. The way you treat strangers today becomes the story told about you tomorrow. So next time you see someone sitting alone, don't just pass by. 1 minute of kindness might be remembered for 40 years.